Hello everyone, Kurt the Good Times Card Collector here, and it's time for a new journey to 150k. This week, or today, we are doing 80k, just over 80k, actually almost 83,000, but got the video together and see how things have changed over the last 10,000 cards. So we start off with just our set compilation. From 70 to 80, baseball really dropped. I had a lot of football cards added to the collection. So you can see baseball went from 94% to 87, and football jumped up that 5% up to 8%, added some more basketball, went up to 3%, hockey stayed about the same. So I had a lot of football and basketball added these last 10,000 to really dig into those baseball numbers, even though it's still really high. Next up, looking at our brands. Upper Deck, Topps, Donruss, Fleer, the big brands. We had a switch in the middle there. We see we had Upper Deck with 24, Topps with 15, Donruss 16, Fleer 11. And as we got to 80k, Upper Deck stayed the same. Top of the heap, still 24%. Thank you, 91 Upper Deck. But then next, Topps jumped up from 15 to 18%. And Donruss stayed the same at 16, and then Fleer actually dropped to 10. So Topps was able to overtake Donruss in that number 2 spot. Even though Donruss stayed the same, Topps had a big gain as far as cards added to my collection these last 10,000. Now we look at years. Of course, 91 is always going to be the top. 25% of my cards were 91, then followed by 92 with 9%, 89 with 8%, 88 with 7%. And as we got to 80k, 91 has stayed at 25%, 92 has stayed at 9%, 89 still at 8%, and 88 still at 7%. As you can see, there weren't a lot of additions to these 4 years. So of these 10,000 cards, it's what, maybe 150 cards, 120 cards added to the set, and so the rest of the 10,000, or actually closer to 13,000 cards, were all not these years. So a lot of other years may catch up. Maybe someone will bump out 1988 by the time I get to 90,000. We'll have to see how it goes. Next up are sets. So 91 Upper Deck, 18%. 89 Donruss, then 89 Topps, and 87 Fleer. And the order has not changed. Percentage-wise, 91 Upper Deck dropped a percent, so still dropping, down to 17. 89 Donruss dropped a percent to 4. 89 Topps dropped to 3%, and 87 Fleer stayed the same at 3%. So these continue to drop as I add different sets to my collection. I just hope that 91 Upper Deck just keeps on dropping. It'd be nice if it got maybe around 10% or so by the time I was done. That would be respectable, I think. Now looking at teams. Our top 3 teams stayed the same, but at bottom 2, number 4 and 5 actually switched around. So we had the Mariners, the Yankees, the A's, Mets, and then Red Sox. And then as we moved to 80k, the Mariners still stayed on top. The Yankees still stayed number 2. Actually pretty close behind the Mariners now. Athletics, number 3, right behind the Yankees. The Mets bumped up into the 4th spot with 28-16, and the Red Sox are following in the 5th spot, 27-91. There are also a few other teams that are close to bumping off the Red Sox. It's real close between 5 and 8. 5th and 8th place are pretty close, so there could be some movement in those those bottom 2 spots. The top 3, for some reason, Mariners, Yankees, A's, is pretty solid. The A's in 3rd place have, 153 card lead on that 3rd place spot, so they're pretty solid in the 1, 2, 3 there. Now looking at my top player collections. These also have not changed. We did have a tie with Barry and Tony Gwynn at 70,000, and that tie is not there anymore, but it's still close. Griffey's still on top, 676. Nolan Ryan picked up a few cards, 259. Mark McGuire picked up a couple cards, 246, Barry Bonds to 219, and Tony Gwynn to 218. So not a lot of big movement with my top 5 here. A few cards here and there added to their collections, but they still are pretty solid in the top 5. But as I go on towards 90K, you know, who knows which cards or which players could come up and bump them out of their spots. Now looking at my autographs and such, 70K, you can see my numbers there on the left. It's pretty solid, I'm pretty happy about them. As I get to 80K, I had a lot of additions here. So set autographs went up to 77, mem cards to 51, serial number cards almost up by 100 to 160. Rookies are still 8%, although I added maybe 1,300 rookie cards. Hall of Famers, I added 1,200 Hall of Famers, and it actually dropped me to 9%, but that's all right. And Hall of Fame rookie cards, I was able to add 10 throughout those 10,000 cards. So as long as numbers are going up, I'm happy there. I'd like to have them all, rookies and Hall of Famers, I'd like to have them all at 10% when when everything's said and done, but we'll just have to see what it looks like. Next up are complete sets. I did not have any additional complete sets, so these are still my completed sets. Nothing got completed during these 10,000 cards. Then as far as nearing completion, 90% or above, again, not any sets really got a big addition or did big boost. The only one that actually changed was 95 Collector's Choice SE, which went up to 91.7%, so it's a little bit closer, but still has a ways to go for me to be able to complete that set. Well everybody, those are the numbers for 80,000 cards. Thank you all for watching and tuning in. And I will be keep on adding cards to the old collection here and see where we go for our next video, which will be 90,000 cards.